tight, embarrassed smile. Somehow you just lose balance of your chopsticks and the food flying into somebody else's cup. That's the worst situation that could ever happen in a Korean restaurant. You not only embarrass yourself, but also embarrass the host. According to Mr. Kim, the proper way of receiving a drink and to finish the alcohol is really important. You want to pick up the cup from the table. You don't want your hands entirely straight. Have a certain comfortable, natural angle. Body slightly bended, and then have your left hand either support your elbow or have it on your side. And when the superior is done pouring, you turn it on the side. You use your left hand, cover your mouth, and finish the alcohol. Here's a perfect example of showing you the videotape of finishing alcohol and receiving alcohol. Here's a perfect example of showing you see his hands on his side, and then when the superior is done pouring, turn it around and then finish the alcohol. What I have talked about, eye contact, use of chopsticks, and punctuality are really important in Korean restaurants. No matter you're in a business settings or a restaurant, topics of conversation are really important, and your hand gestures. Here we have Billy talking about conversational manners.
According to Chosunilbo, one of the most prestigious newspapers in Korea, conversational manners are divided into two parts, body language and nonverbal language. I'm going to start with body language. When you are speaking to someone in a Korean business setting, it is always important to look humble and respectful. Now the way to do this is by firstly clasping your hands together like so, and resting them in front of your crotch area, and slightly hunching your back while maintaining eye contact. This shows that you are paying attention, that you are interested in what the other person is saying, and that you are respectful. In the Korean business world, hierarchy is very visible, so you must make sure that you abide by these implicit rules. Also, standing straight up with your chest out might be construed as confident in Indonesia, but in Korea it might be construed as being arrogant. So you must maintain that hunchback posture to show respect. And this might be just common sense, but don't talk to your superior in Korea like you're talking to your friend. One of the biggest mistakes that you can make when you're talking to your superior is you're talking to them with your hands in your pocket. I mean, it is frowned upon in our culture, but in Korea, we might get away with it in Indonesia, but in Korea, this is definitely not okay. So keep in mind, keep that in mind. So that's body language. I'm going to move on to nonverbal language. I'm going to elaborate on bowing because bowing is pretty much prevalent in not just the Korean business culture, but the Korean culture itself. The thing about bowing is there are a certain angle that you bow at to different people in the organizations. So the basic understanding is the higher the position of the person you are bowing to, the lower you bow. So I'm just going to demonstrate this with an example. Tae, please come forward. So let's just say Tae is bowing to a co-worker of the same level. So Tae, how low would you bow to a co-worker of the same level? Okay. To an assistant manager. To the manager. To the director of the company. To the president of the company. To Tae. Okay. Pointing. Never point with your index finger. This is very rude. The reason being, index fingers are used with children, pets, and delinquents. Always point with an open palm. Hand gestures. Limit your hand gestures when you're talking to someone, regardless if it's a coworker, a subordinate, or a superior in a Korean business setting. Because when you use too much hand gestures, it's construed as condescending, because it's like you're explaining things to a child. So limit your hand gestures. But hand gestures are a good tool to establish rapport with your coworkers. So, for instance, the thumbs up sign also applies in the Korean business setting. It means the same thing in Indonesia as it does in Korea. It means great, good. So, for example, if a coworker has done his or her work properly and well and accordingly, and you want to praise him or her, you give him the thumbs up, and that means great work. Keep it up. Also, when you are being asked something and you are not sure what the answer is, there's a common action that Koreans use to react. So for example, if I'm not sure, mind you this is casual, so don't do it to your superiors, but just to coworkers that you're comfortable with. So if, for example, if I'm being asked something and I'm not sure what the answer is, I tilt my head downwards, I rotate it, and I inhale air through my teeth. So I'm just going to demonstrate it again today. Please ask me a question.
What's the meaning of life?
I'm not sure. So there you go. So just to recap, regarding conversational manners, I talked about body language, which covers looking humble and respectful when talking to the Korean people in a business setting, and nonverbal language, which covers bowing, pointing, and hand gestures.
In conclusion, in order not to make a fool of yourself in a deeper understanding of the Korean culture, what we have talked about today, office manners, dining manners, and conversation manners, are really essential to do business with the Koreans in Korea.
I'd like to end our presentation by telling you old Korean saying. 친구를 찾는 것이 보물을 찾는 것이다, which means to find a friend is to find treasure, which shows you just how welcoming Korean can be.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, Tom.
What kind of business is this, and why are you choosing to move to South Korea?
His question is what kind of business we're doing and why we're choosing South Korea.
Well, the kind of business that we're doing is, like I said before, we're offering multimedia services. So our company dabbles in offering multimedia products. So like advanced technology products, such as, like I mentioned before, satellite link data. We provide pay TV, internet portals. So we're talking like high-speed connection, high-speed internet, and cell phone services we also offer. And the reason we are trying to move to Korea is because we think that we can, with our low prices and the relatively expensive technology, Korean technology market, we can gain a significant leverage in the market. So, yes.
When you go to South Korea, what do you think your target market is going to be?
Okay, so the question was, when we go to South Korea, what do we think the target market is going to be? So,
Well, it could be very variety targets because in South Korea, internet is very popular and everyone's playing online game or other online even chatting. It is still popular, and the thing is in Korea the internet services you have to pay a lot actually, and it is expensive to use the internet and play games. However, we're going to offer much cheaper price of service, and so that all teenagers or even older or elder people can do the internet or online game.
You guys went into a lot of detail about the dining language, and I like that, but one thing I have a question about is, do you guys, well, when you go to South Korea, when you're at the dinner table, do you guys talk about business, or is that kind of a thing that you're supposed to shy away from?
Your question is whether we should talk about business in a restaurant. Yes, it will depend. Yeah, yes. We do talk about business in a Korean restaurant, just not as formal as in an office.
Yeah, the business atmosphere sounds really formal. Is there any like laid-back things, or is it all just strict business?
Are you talking about business, your own business, where
Like at the workplace?
right, or could it be a little relaxing? Well, I'm saying business is pretty business. You have to keep your jacket on at all times, so I'll say business is really strictly business. You shouldn't know what you need before the wrong time.
but after work, it is common for Koreans to go out for a drink. Actually, Koreans, I like to think as Koreans as the Irish people of Asia. They really drink. So if you ever, I've never drank before, but if you ever drink soju, you know, like it's a very powerful drink. So Korean men do it.
Would you say the majority of like business deals go down in the office, or would they go down at the
Well, your question was whether it's mainly in the office or in the restaurants. I'll say in the office, but sometimes it do happen in the restaurant, but more focused mainly in the office. Any more questions?
I'm sorry.